Hey everyone, Mike here, and in this clip I'm going to run through a few tips and tricks on the Sony Xperia Z2. I'll try to keep it short, but also make sure you understand what's new about this phone and what has changed from last year's Xperia Z1. So without any further ado, let's jump to it. On the outside, the Xperia Z2 sports a very familiar design and is in many ways nearly identical to the Z1. It retains the glass-enriched body with rounded metallic edges and a monolithic shape. However, the new Z2 is millimetrically longer than the Z1, mainly because it packs a larger 5.2-inch screen, as opposed to the 5-inch one on the 2013 model. On the other hand, the Z2 is just as wide as the Z1 and about 10 grams lighter, so nothing to complain here. Still, while on the first look the Z2 and the Z1 are nearly twins, a few things have changed from one generation to the other. Let's take the notification light for instance, which is bigger and brighter on the new unit. Then Sony worked on fixing something they screwed up with their previous flagships, the speakers. The Z2 now sports a set of stereo chambers, placed below and on top of the screen facing towards the user. The speaker grills are narrow, but the sound coming out of them is not bad. We're not talking HTC One good though. On top of the new speakers, Sony now allows you to connect an external USB DAC adapter to the Xperia in order to output high-quality audio towards an external sound system, something the audiophiles among you will surely appreciate. Those aside, the Xperia Z2 is still IP certified, or in other words, water and dust proof. Because of that, the front and back glass faces are protected by a thin plastic film, which is almost invisible but will help fend off scratches. And of course, the ports are still covered by plastic caps, which in my opinion feel stronger and are more carefully made than on the older Z1. Alright, with those out of the way, let's turn our attention on the screen for a few seconds. It's large, sharp, punchy, but still not perfect, as the viewing angles are still rather poor and the colors somewhat oversaturated, at least on this test unit. I'll tell you more about that in the review. For now, I will mention two new features offered by the Xperia Z2 though. The gloves mode, which, as the name suggests, allows you to use the screen with gloves on, and the ability to double tap the screen to wake up the phone without having to press the power button on the side. We've seen this on other devices before, but not on Xperias. Hardware-wise, the Xperia Z2 and the Z1 are similar, the only noticeable difference between them being the extra 1GB of RAM on the new unit for a total of 3GB. That's hardly visible in benchmarks, but is sometimes noticeable in everyday use, where the Z2 is blazingly fast and almost entirely lag-free. But the new Xperia comes with Android 4.4, and this aspect has an important take on performances as well. Software-wise, Sony have lightly skinned the vanilla interface we've seen on the Nexus 5, but not in a bad way. They've added their own services of course, widgets and small apps, but kept the standard KitKat features like the ability to quickly switch between launchers from the settings, or the wallpapers that stretch behind the main navigation and the system tray on home pages. Looking back at their Android 4.3 implementation, Sony did change a few things with this new software version, aside from the graphic tweaks that make the entire interface feel more professional. For instance, they slightly upgraded the Multitasking Panel, which now allows you to close all the apps at once. They also redesigned the notification tray, with separated tabs for notifications and a set of quick toggles. You can select the toggles displayed in here and their order from the settings, and you can also select the icons shown in the system tray bar if you want to. All this aside, there's one more crucial feature we have to talk about, the main shooter. On paper, the Z2 inherits the camera from the Z1, but adds a few new tweaks and shooting modes. Among them, there's now the ability to shoot 4K video or 1080p clips at 60 frames per second, and there's a time-shift video function which allows you to quickly create some slow-motion recordings. On top of this, the shooter seems to perform overall better than it did on the older Z1, but we're not getting in depth here. I'll tell you more about this in the review that's probably already available on the channel by the time you're watching this clip, so check it out. Alright, those were the major aspects I wanted to cover in here. For more details on the Sony Xperia Z2, check out all my other videos, I've linked them in the description. Before you go though, if you enjoyed the clip, make sure to share it on Facebook, Twitter or wherever else you're active. And of course, if you have any questions or know any other cool tricks I haven't included in the video, leave a comment below, I'll be around to reply. Thanks for watching and I'll catch you later.